So, good morning. It's an absolute delight to be here. Not only is it an incredibly beautiful city, this morning was gorgeous for a Brit like me to be stood there with your cobbles and your bikes, and no rain this morning as well. It's fantastic. But really the reason it's wonderful to be here is because we, the people, are starting to do something about how the world is. And I really, truly believe that we are making a change now. We are starting to create and ride a wave that is going to make a difference. I couldn't agree more with what Sophia said about waiting around for other people to solve the problems we face. The next century is going to be so radically different from the one before that we have to change everything. And so to get together like this and to practice thinking about and acting on change, I think is absolutely vital, and it's within our power to make a difference. A very brief introduction. I run a company called NixonMcInnes in the UK, and we work with some of the biggest brands in the UK to help them change, to adapt, particularly to understand how new technology and the internet is transforming the demands that we place on them. But increasingly, what we're really helping them to do, and what the internet is really driving towards, is joining everything up, and meaning that big organizations cannot hide anymore from the realities of the world that we live in. The company that we've created is unusual in its company culture. So everyone knows how much everyone earns. We have open book accounting. We have key input on decisions. We measure happiness every day. And there's a wonderful organization called World Blue that I would point you to, who help you survey and work towards becoming a democratic organization. And actually, Podio, who are good Danish lads, are a World Blue company. Alex Kierulf, who some of you might know, the Chief Happiness Officer, is also involved. So it's great to be here. And if any of the ideas that I talk about today resonate, then there's also a TEDx talk that I did, which kind of builds on some of them. This last weekend, the reason I look a little bit burnt, and if you get too close, you'll see that I have like really, really dry lips, is because we had some unusually good weather in the UK, and I was camping with my family and about 8 other families in this part of England called Dorset, which is on the southwest coast. It's very rural. And we were staying exactly on this campsite here, which is in a kind of valley, and it's the Jurassic coast. So it's actually a part of the coast where all of the layers of earth and rock are revealed. So you can be walking along the beach looking for crabs or throwing stones, and you can find fossils. And it struck me when I was working up this talk and knowing that I was going to be here today with you guys, I was thinking about these lanterns. And I don't know if you have these lanterns here, but they're all the rage in middle-class camping trips. So what happens in the UK is you put the kids to bed, you relax, you sit around with your friends, you start drinking hard, and then you light a lantern, and it's just what you do. And shortly after dark, the fires would be burning, and you'd see a lantern go up, and there'd be a little kind of ripple, and we'd all go, ooh, look, a lantern. And then a couple of minutes later, another one. And then before you know it, the sky had 3, 4, 5 of these lanterns going up. So it came to our time to light our lantern, because of course, being good middle-class campers, we had one too. And we lit it, and we were in the bottom of the valley, and the wind was sweeping through, and my friend was trying to light it while I held it. And it's actually quite risky, because lanterns and tents with sleeping children in them aren't a very good mix. And we were trying to get this thing, it was kind of half filling with warm air, but it just wouldn't take off. And when I was putting this talk together, I was thinking, we keep using the same examples for meaning organizations. There are so few of these lanterns in the sky, but we're all pointing at them. We're all saying, ooh, look, it can be done. But sometimes they just don't take off. But the pursuit of that goal and the effect that it has on others, if we can get more of these lanterns in the sky, it will be a great thing. Because when I think about business in the 20th century, I think about extraction. I think about asset stripping, crushing the spirit of our parents and our friends, hating the boss, hating the job, Dilbert cartoons, negativity, and just profiteering. But there's also something magical about business for me. I'm still a defender and a supporter of business because I feel, this is a photo of my boys running free in rural France. And this photo for me represents independence, hope, joy, simplicity. And I think business can be all of those things. It doesn't have to be about crushing out and wringing out the value and the spirit of the raw assets. There is a better way. And we're starting to call this better way meaning organizations. Fundamentally, any organization, business organization, that will thrive in this next century needs to have a purpose. And a purpose that goes beyond some kind of fake apparition that says, yeah, we really care about making your life better here, but actually all we care about is the dollars. What we're looking for, and you know this as a consumer and as a citizen and as a person, is we're looking for greater meaning in our lives. Despite all of the wealth that we've generated in the last century, we are no better off. Here I am in the happiest country in the world, but generally, things haven't made a difference to us, the luxury items. So we need to start saying, to create these meaning organizations, we need to ask really deeply, like, why are we doing this? What is the point of this beyond the profit? I would imagine that most, if not all of you know this guy, Umair Haque, but he is the prophet of this revolution. And if you don't follow him, if you haven't read his book, please do. That's his Twitter account. You can kind of find everything else from there. But he says there are 7 characteristics of meaning organizations: significance, outcomes thinking, harmony, purpose, peace and love, and ambition. And I'm totally down with the warm, fuzzy stuff. That's great and that's cool and that excites me. But I think that we need to look at the harder things on that list if we're going to create real meaning organizations. Significance, outcomes thinking. So going beyond just creating short-term results into actually, what are the longer term, what's the residue, the results that are left behind after this product is bought or this service is delivered, and purpose. So it's really worth following Umair's work on this subject. Some examples of meaning organizations, and there are no complete meaning organizations, but there are glimmers of hope. There are some of these lanterns in the sky. So a series of examples that I'll take you through, starting with the Nano. So Tata, the Indian conglomerate, created the Nano to hit a $2,000 price point. So this is a car that has opened up transportation to a whole new swathe of Indian society. This was what other car manufacturers said was impossible. How did they do it? 1 windscreen wiper. You have to get to the boot through the car. 3 nuts on every wheel instead of 4 nuts. But they thought differently in order to achieve an outcome that would be significant and would help change lives and create profit. Google. Of course, none of these examples are perfect, but Google has at its core a set of principles which guide it towards a higher purpose. There are several that you could lift out, but for example, the need for information crosses all borders. This isn't we're in the advertising business. This isn't we're in the mapping business or the book business. This is we help connect people with the information they need. There is a higher sense of meaning for the people working in that organization. Interface is an incredible example of how 20th century business can become 21st century business. It is a carpet manufacturing business, and at its very essence, at its core, was the grimy, gritty, toxic reality of creating plastics and new textiles and fabrics. It was a manufacturing company. But the CEO and founder, Ray Anderson, had an epiphany late in his career when he realized that his joy, his baby, his creation was part of the problem and not part of the solution. So they have set about creating a new kind of manufacturing business where they recycle and repurpose and remanufacture, where they fundamentally put sustainability at the core of everything they do. And what's so bold and so beautiful about Interface is that their goal isn't only to do that for themselves, but it's to go beyond, to show the entire industrial world what sustainability is. They want to be the change that they want to see in the world. This, for me, is a meaning organization. It's transcended dollars and carpet tiles into showing the way for all of us. How many of you are Kiva lenders? That's fantastic. If you're not already, get involved. You can start for $25. You can lend someone in the developing world some money to help them with their project. And you can choose where they are in the world, what their project is. But Kiva is just such a fantastic, warm, human business project, linking up people that need money with people who have money. And it's just an awesome project. I really believe in their meaning, which is about helping the whole world, the whole planet get better. And increasingly, a bit of a cheerleader for some of this new-fangled business thinking and doing, Zappos, the American kind of cheerleader organization for new culture. You have to find out more if you don't already about Zappos, but they celebrate weirdness. They hire people who are weird. They try and create family values and a family feel. And they have initiatives to help people who need help. And their emphasis is on personal development, on communication. This is a business that fundamentally is a warehouse full of shoes and a website. It's like Amazon for shoes and is now owned by Amazon. But they didn't stop at that. They wanted to create a heart and a culture and some glue that would bring people like us together to actually give a crap about our jobs. This is another example of what we can aspire to as a meaning organization. And when I was putting this together, I was thinking, well, what does it take to be the leader of a meaning organization? What will it require of you and of all of us to lead these changes? And I think it is a new set of characteristics. It is a new set of behaviors. And when we look at these pictures or many others, you can see how different these people potentially are. But there is a sense that we're part of something. There is a new guard. And all of these people have their own approach, their own company, and they're in very different worlds. But they're all driving for something greater than just kind of another product or another service. So how do meaning organizations behave? I've picked out 3 sets of behaviors, but I'm sure there are many more as we'll discover over the course of the next 2 days and the next 10 years. There's something big going on with happiness. So in France, President Sarkozy is reorienting the political framework from GDP, how much money can we output as an economy, to a happiness set of frameworks. In the UK, David Cameron is making the same noises. There is interesting research kind of building and building around happiness. I came across this article at the start of 2011 by this Australian woman called Bronnie Ware, who'd spent a lot of time caring for people that were dying. And she called this article "The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying." And I think if you read them, they're just really profound. But the 2 that stand out for me were, I wish I didn't work so hard, and I wish I'd let myself be happier. And I think increasingly we in society are starting to say, why am I doing this? What is the benefit, the value of doing this? And I think that needs to happen inside meaning organizations. In my little company, we measure happiness using tennis balls. So every day on the way out, you take a tennis ball from the bucket, and if you had a good day, you put it in the happy bucket. If you had a bad day, you put it in the unhappy bucket. It's a stupid kind of candy experiment. But we've been doing this for about 9 months, and we're starting to plot happiness against profit and other factors. What would it be like if every meaning organization was measuring happiness every day, and the management and the owners could see this data? It was revealed to them physically. What would that feel like? One of the other big characteristics of meaning organizations, I believe, in the 21st century will be openness. There's the carrot and the stick of openness, both fueled by the internet. For those that don't know, and they have the most awesome t-shirts, Threadless is an online community business in the States where all of the t-shirt designs are submitted by the community. Then the winning design is selected by the voting from the community. And then the photos of people actually wearing the t-shirt are sent in from the community. So instead of doing 5 or 6 of the main steps of a t-shirt company, Threadless does about 2. It convenes the party, but everything else is done by us, the community. It's an awesome example of openness, true openness, co-creation, crowdsourcing, all of those other good buzzwords. And then there's the stick of openness that will help beat business towards better meaning and better openness. WikiLeaks and the like are not going to go away. Memos and information, corruption and badness is infinitely shareable in today's world. So we are facing a world where the terrain is much more open and the environment is much more open. So we can either hide from that or celebrate it and run into it head first. The third characteristic that I wanted to finish with is participation. I don't believe that you motivate a group of people like this here today by telling them what to do. I believe that Gen Y and the smart, cultured, sophisticated people that we have become want more than to be told what to do. Command and control isn't going to work anymore. We have to provide ways and mechanisms for people to participate. This is an awesome book by a Brazilian entrepreneur who took over his father's company when he was 21. He tried to do it the normal way. And in the end, he nearly had a heart attack. And he said, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to go crazy and do it completely different. And he employed a whole load of insane democratic ideas. People could decide what their job was, what their title was, what their working hours were. They could start new companies. They could use expenses for whatever they want. So famously, an engineer commissioned a helicopter to take a client on a tour of an area. It's a fantastic book. Read both of them. But what it gave me was the spark of the sense that we can do this our way if we want to. We can create real participation. As I mentioned, there's a fantastic movement called World Blue, which I would encourage you to check out. There are a number of Danish companies who are already certified members of this movement. And here we are in San Francisco celebrating earlier this year the rise of the movement. So participation is going to build and build, I believe, in meaning organizations. So fundamentally, the question for us to answer over the next couple of days is, what kind of business do we want in the world? What kind of business do we believe in, do we want to participate in, give our blood, sweat, and tears, and a good chunk of our lives? These are the meaning organizations, the ones at our fingertips that we haven't yet created, that are in all of us. We need to put our lanterns in the sky, and it'll be hard. We didn't get our lantern in the sky. We nearly burnt 2 tents. Next time, maybe we will. It requires that fortitude and that determination. I wish you the very best with creating a meaning organization. Thank you.